So, Klaudia, welcome. Could you tell the people a little bit about you and who you are? And then we're going to get stuck in and we're going to start to talk about what is workplace happiness.
Yeah, what a topic, eh?
Big one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Klaudia. I'm a work psychologist and learning and development specialist. I always say that my very big, ambitious purpose is to boost happiness in the workplace. I'm also a co-host of a podcast called And Happiness, which is all about science behind happiness in the workplace.
See, I love that. Happiness feels like a fluffy thing that everybody kind of thinks, is it real? Is it something that we need to be concerned about? But you've just talked about bringing science to the conversation. And that's the thing that makes the difference for me. So let's dig in. Let's start to think about what is workplace happiness.
Great. And I'm really happy that you're excited about science, because many times people are a bit scared by, those crazy. There are definitely so many different there's so much of extensive research that has been done on happiness in the workplace. And really, my favorite is the model that has been done by Daniel Pink on 3 specific components. So after you've been paid fairly for the work that you do and you are treated fairly in the workplace, there are 3 elements that has been shown to really generate more happiness and engagement in the workplace, okay? And these are autonomy, mastery, and purpose.
Perfect. So we all need the starting point of feeling like we're being paid reasonably,
Yes.
feeling like we're being given some respect and we're treated reasonably well. That's the basic level. So we're all good with that. But these 3 elements, autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And I'm already kind of loving the idea of autonomy, probably because I'm just a bit rogue in life. So that works for me. What do you mean by autonomy for anybody who's listening? Help me understand it exactly.
So what we mean by autonomy is this idea of being in an environment in which we are empowered and encouraged to make decisions. And we know that we can take those decisions and make a real impact and contribute to something bigger than us. It's that idea of having a freedom in the workplace, being able to direct our tasks and be self-directed of what we do on daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So, opposite to that, you have a classic micromanaging. Have you ever experienced that? Is that fun?
I mean, no, it's not fun. It's not.
Exactly. We want to feel we are the experts, and we want to feel like empowered that we can make a difference and we can make those decisions. We also want to know that if we make mistake, we can change that, we can solve problems, and we are in that full capacity to do that. So that's what autonomy is about. If think opposite, as I said, micromanaging, blame culture, those are not environments where we will be thriving, really. The opportunities there for happiness are really low.
Well, I mean, I've worked in an environment where micromanagement was the culture, and I'll be honest, I was useless because I hated it. I absolutely hated it, and the level of quality of my work dropped. The kind of my will and my desire to do well and to kind of push forward just took a real kick. And that's not me at all. I'm quite a motivated person by nature, but this environment really kind of drained it from me.
Yes, and autonomy is what we need to experiment and innovate. Without that, you cannot create new ideas. You need to have a space to look at the things in a different way, try something, test it, and that's where innovation is born. So if you don't have that autonomy, it's tricky to do that.
So if I'm a manager, if I'm a leader in a business, and I'm thinking, you know what, actually, I quite like the sound of this, but it's not really the world that we've been living in. So how can I make that change towards working in an autonomous environment or creating that for my people?
Well, when it comes to creating it to your people, have trust that people come to work with good intentions. They want to deliver their best. So leave them to that. I think don't be afraid to delegate and empower people to make decisions and push decisions to the front line. But when things go wrong, don't blame. Be there to ask questions, support, and coach people so they can fix whatever did not go according to the plan. The moment we start blaming people because things are going not according to the plan is the moment we are killing the autonomy, because they won't be in the future, they won't wish to learn, and they won't be wanting to innovate. So be very careful with that. So I think it's that idea of a trust that you create within your team, then autonomy will follow.
So if I'm a job seeker who's kind of watching this video and thinking, actually, maybe I've got, or maybe I'm in a role and I'm kind of thinking I want to have this in my environment, but I can't directly influence it. What could I do to try and influence the kind of the behavior of maybe my leader, or the people around me, to kind of start to embrace this idea?
I think definitely it starts with a trust. So build the trust, be the person that is reliable, that delivers, and ask for that extra autonomy on decision making. Can I be involved in that project? Can I lead on that project and prove that you can do it? And I think the more trust you will build, the more autonomy you will get.
So if I'm in that environment where it doesn't necessarily exist, I can still kind of take some responsibility to start to generate and create that, and I can still have an impact and influence the behavior of the other people around me.
Absolutely. And you can work in a certain way with your colleagues to start that autonomy building. When you're delegating, we all delegate. Doesn't matter whether we are managers or not. When we work with people within the team, how much trust and autonomy do you give to your colleagues on how much you actually really need to be in control of what's happening? That's the kind of questions I would ask. And if you're a job seeker, again, if you're looking for opportunities, think about autonomy and just simply ask when you're being interviewed how much autonomy you will have in this role, who is making the key decisions, what decisions will I have the power to influence.
So we talk a lot in a lot of these conversations we're having, where we talk about kind of the culture of businesses, and those questions that you've just asked there would give you a very clear indicator into the culture of the business that you're potentially looking to join.
Absolutely. Because if the answer is, well, the decisions here are made by only one person, you will know there will be not much maneuver for you being empowered and actually create that impact.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Mastery. I mean, I'm a big believer in the idea of mastery. I like the idea of kind of nailing something down and just becoming great at it. I don't know if that's the competitive nature in me. I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you. Maybe it's because I'm a twin. I'm not sure. But have I got a grip on it? Am I on the right track?
Yeah, well, I'm very much, it's my favorite as well, mastery, because it's about, we are good at certain elements and we have a certain strengths. And I think mastery is about really using your strengths every day, really applying them to your work and progressing them. So it's this double idea of, do I know what my strengths are? That's number one. Because many times we are known for something that we're good at that, but actually we wish to be known for something else. We know that our strengths lies somewhere else. So do I know what my strengths are? Then do other people know what my strengths are? Because that's a different conversation as well. Do my strengths actually coming across, or I get delegated project which actually had nothing to do with my strength?
Mm-hmm.
And then the final aspect is how I can push my strengths even further. What can I learn this month, next week, next year? How do I want to progress my strengths? I think that is what the mastery is about, really application of those three elements.
So I love that, and I'm all on board with this as well. I mean, Gary Vaynerchuk is a big one on the idea of doubling down on your strengths. But I think culturally, we're predisposed to be thinking, well, what am I not very good at, and what do I need to get better at? So I should expel more energy on trying to get better at that particular thing. And again, from personal experience, I know this to be the truth. I'm not very good at administration, Klaudia. I'll be honest with you, I'm terrible at it. I don't enjoy paperwork. Just not my thing. And I spent a long time beating myself up over the idea that I needed to be better at this. And then I had a moment where I just thought, it's not going to happen.
Mm.
I'm at an age now where this is not going to occur. So I'll find somebody else and I will build the team around me who can really kind of cover that. So somebody who's passionate about that kind of that area allows me to then go away and say, well, actually, I'm going to do the bit that I love and that I'm good at. And that's kind of getting in there with the guests and getting on the floor and making an impact on delivering amazing experiences. That's the thing that makes me smile, not administration.
Yes, and that's so right. So I think it's because, can you imagine that we live in the world that everyone knows each other's strengths? And this idea is that, yes, if people are better at something than you, oh my God, let them do that. Why are you struggling with something which is what I called your blind spot? Okay. You can be amazing in so many things, and really utilizing that energy and capitalizing on those strengths and achieving in those areas rather than struggling with your blind spots. There are people who are amazing at your blind spot. Let them just do that and let them shine.
That's the answer. So if we take this to an interview process, if I'm a manager in a business and I know that I've many times I've kind of said, you know what, administration, I'm not very good at it. I could lead with that, but it doesn't give a great message about me. Or I could lead with the idea that actually, you know what, I'm amazing at this and I work really hard at that. And then I build people around me who can deliver that. So it's about kind of really having that answer ready when somebody asks me the question. So you said at the beginning, kind of knowing your skills, you know, understanding your own core skills and really kind of leveraging those and playing on those in a big way, but then recognizing the fact that stuff that actually I'm not great at, well, I'm gonna find people around me who can do that with me and for me and make it work. And what do you think it takes to get comfortable with having that conversation?
Well, I think it's about being authentic. I mean, and really just understanding that we cannot be amazing at everything. I mean, if you are, then you are a genius and you are a small percentage of this population. We are humans. That's who we are. And some things we're very good at, and let's utilize that. And some things we not. And I think that honesty also decreases this, like lifts off this massive pressure and expectations that we have to be excellent at everything. That's not what mastery is. It is being excellent and brilliant at things that you are and that really matters to you.
And knowing that and approaching an interview with that mindset, you know what that brings? That brings happiness because you're comfortable, you're free, you're much bolder with your answers. You know, you're not trying to hide something. You're just like, this is what I'm great at. Let's work on that. The other stuff, I cover that when I need to cover it with the right people around me.
Exactly. And and suddenly the interview is not this stressful test that we have to really prove to the people that, yes, this is me and I'm right for this job. It's very much about, hey, I'm here to talk to you, what value I can bring to your business. And this is me. So it's really should be a nice conversation in which you showcasing your strengths and skills and topics that you are passionate about. Then the interview suddenly doesn't seem that scary, does it?
It's positively enjoyable, potentially.
Absolutely. You're speaking about something you love, your passion topic, and you're speaking about something that you're very good at, which are your strengths. So, and you being authentic, you bringing yourself to it and saying, this is the value I can offer you. And as a result, those will be the benefits in your business. If they don't want that, then actually, in the long term, it's better that now, then you get into that role, and half a year later or year later, you will be miserable that you are asked to do things like administration, which you don't want to do, you're not good at, and you're actually suffering. I know it's very difficult to know that when we are under pressure and we feel, God, I need to have a job, I need to bring money, I need to provide. But it's, if you can think about interviews in that aspect, I think lots of pressure will go away and you'll be able to do it in a much calmer way.
Absolutely, which will undoubtedly will bring you more successful results. So
Absolutely.
let's dig into purpose. You know, we've done autonomy and mastery. Let's dig into purpose. And I think actually we've started to go down that road, haven't we, really? As we're talking about that interview process and talking about the things that we're passionate about, and sharing the joy of that it brings us. What does it mean to you?
Well, to me, purpose is this idea behind why do I do something? Why this topic, not something else? And how that can I see clearly of what I'm doing, how that impacts the business, the organization, and what type of problems am I solving? What type of value do I provide to my customers? And I think it's very much linking that. If you can link even the more mundane tasks that you potentially have to do as part of your work, because it's not always rosy, I understand that. But if you can link that to the overall purpose of the organization or overall to your purpose that you have at work, then you have that joy of I'm contributing to something bigger and more meaningful.
And that can make the world of difference. I think when you feel like you're doing a mundane task just for the sake of doing it,
Mm.
is one thing. When you know that you can kind of look at that small element of your day, but what impact is that having on the much wider picture? Well, then it starts to get much easier to think, well, okay, you know what, I'll just deal with that. I'll get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to, as humans, we just need to know what's the point. And if you understand what's the point, whether it's for the team, for customer, for the organization, or for you individual, there are different levels of purpose, but knowing that is so important for our motivation as well. When things get tough, if we understand why we're doing something and why is it important to us, we will be facing adversity in a much more positive way.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that kind of idea that actually, so there's those different levels of purpose. You're right. My purpose today may well be one thing, but my purpose for the week, for the month, for the year, for the 5 years, it's going to get bigger and it's going to get bigger and it's going to have more kind of long-term results attached to it potentially. And the purpose of the wider business, you tie that together with your own. And if those two things go hand in hand, well, I would imagine you become pretty much unstoppable.
Sure.
Feels like a win.
Yeah,
So workplace happiness.
here we
Yeah, I
go.
think we're there, haven't we? Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Three amazing ideas. And I think potentially sit down, go through this, listen, make some notes, and think about kind of what is it that's important to you when it comes to autonomy? What do you crave? And maybe have a moment where you think, how does it affect me if I don't have that within my role?
Absolutely. And make conscious decisions about it. When we're looking at the job roles, it's not necessarily saying, okay, I have to wait for ideal job opportunity that has all those three components. No, you can make conscious decisions of, okay, I'm going to accept certain job role or apply for it because, I can see my mastery shining and I know I'll have purpose, even though maybe I won't have that much autonomy, but at least it's a conscious decision. And when you will not be having that autonomy, you will remind yourself why you're doing this role. What is it providing you? And you won't get that frustration that, oh, I thought I'll be making all this decision and actually I'm not. So I think making that conscious decision, understanding maybe which element is more important to you and why, how certain job roles that you're looking for fit in with that,
Yep.
helps you later on long term to sustain that happiness or don't experience quite high frustration if you suddenly don't have those elements.
And I mean, again, I'm a big fan of that idea. If your mastery is being able to shine, and your purpose is in alignment with the brand that you're working with, well, then you're going to do well. You go back to those stats we talked about first time round. 31% were happier, 18% more effective. There's a whole load of things that will start to shine, which then in turn means that if you're doing well, then you'll be given more autonomy because you're demonstrating that actually you can be trusted, that you are a valued member of the team, and actually with those people will feel comfortable to give that away to you.
Absolutely. And this again stresses this entire idea that for so long we've been taught that you have to be successful and then you'll be happy. But actually, happiness is really important to our success. If we are happy, we have much higher chances of being successful, of being recognized at work, and building really impactful results. So yes, please look after the happiness. As I always dare all my listeners on the Unhappiness podcast, we dare you to be happy. It's so important. It's not selfish. It's not a fluffy concept. It is very important to your career success.
Perfect. I think we can end on that. Thank you very much, Klaudia.
Thank you. Thank you so much.